Greetings, everybody. So let's look at this problem here, which is ultimately about calculating a probability. Okay, you can read the question up there as it is, and I'll just summarize it for you right now. Okay, but if you want to pause it and read that, you can go ahead and do it. But here's how I think about it. So most problems with probability deal with some kind of experiment that involves some randomness. So in this case, we're going to choose 18 people from a group of 400, and we're going to ask them a question. Okay? You can see there's lots of things that we can ask them. We could see how they rate their financial shape. There's excellent, some rate as good, some rate as fair, some rate as poor, and so on. Okay, so you might say that we're going to choose 18 people from 400 and maybe ask them this question of how they rate their financial shape. Now, here's what I'd like to calculate. What is the probability that 0 of the 18 people that we pick, 18 out of 400, what is the probability 0 of them rate their financial shape as fair? Okay? Now, here's how we would answer that. Ultimately, this is what it's going to come down to. I need to count the ways there are to choose 18 people who do not rate as fair, okay? Because I'm going to choose 18 people, and I want the probability that none of them rate their financial shape as fair, okay? So that means that I'd have to choose 18 people who do not rate their financial shape as fair. So I have to figure out how many ways are there out of this group of 400 to pick 18 people who do not rate their financial shape as fair. And I'll divide that by how many ways there are to choose 18 people from the group of 400 altogether. Okay? Now, to be a little more specific about this, this up here, choosing 18 people who do not rate as fair, we're choosing from 248. Okay? So maybe the whole group has 400 in it, but in order for me to pick 18 people who do not rate their financial shape as fair, I only have 248 to pick from. I'll tell you why that is in a second. Down here, how many ways are there to choose 18 people total, like at all? There we're choosing from 400. Okay? So if you think about this happening, like this is the way it would have to happen. Is I would have to pick 18 people who do not rate as fair. Like that's just how it is, like in order for this to happen. Okay, now why do I say that here we're choosing from 248? Well, I notice in this pie chart that 38% of this entire group of 400 rate their financial shape as fair. So if I need to figure out, start counting the ways that people do not rate their financial shape as fair, then I might think of it like this. You either rate your financial shape as fair or you don't, okay? So if you tell me 38% rate their financial shape as fair, that means the rest of them do not. The rest of them have some other answer to that question. So the rest of them would be 62% because there's 100% total. If I take away the 30% that rate their financial shape as fair, that's 62%. So that must be what this comes down to. Is, to pick people who do not rate their financial shape as fair, that's like 62% of the whole group. Like those are the ones that I have to choose from if I'm going to pick these 18 people out, all right? Now, since there are 400 people in the group, 62% of 400 is 248. So there's 248 people who do not rate their financial shape as fair. So if this is going to happen, if I'm going to pick 18 people and none of them rate their financial shape as fair, I have to count up the number of ways there are to choose 18 from that group of 248 who don't rate their shape as fair. So that's why right here, I'm saying I've got 248 people to pick 18 people from, okay? Now, about the choosing, okay, because here we're choosing. We're gonna got this big group of people and we're gonna pick 18 who don't rate their financial shape as fair. How do we count up the number of ways there are to choose a certain number from a group? It's with combinations. That's what the symbol C means, okay? That's been discussed in other problems that have come up in this lesson. So this top number here, how many ways there are to choose 18 people from the group of 248 who don't rate their financial shape as fair is 18 choose 248. And we can use a calculator to figure this number out. But I'll just go ahead and save it for the end. And then this number down here, how many ways are there to choose 18 people at all from the group of 400? Then that'd be 18 choose 400. Okay? All right, so that's what's going to come down to. This is here. This is here. If I divide them, I'll get my answer. With a calculator and some rounding, I'll get 0.000144, which is the answer that you see right there. Okay, now this definition right here is just like how we would calculate any other probabilities. If I was going to say, what's the probability of rolling a 1 on a 6-sided die, I'd have to say, like, well, how many ways are there to roll a 1? Divide that by what's the total number of possibilities. Okay, so in this case, 18 choose 248. Is there a number of ways to choose 18 people according to the probability that we're after, divided by this down here, what turns out to be the total number of possibilities in just picking 18 people at all. Okay, so hope that helps out. You may have to refer back to the other videos and earlier lessons where combinations, choosing is introduced, but other than that, hope it helps out.